Hello, my name is Lisa Williams. I am a counselor at New Beginnings, a nonprofit agency that helps the underprivileged with counseling service in Fort Worth, Texas. Today I want to present a case to you regarding a 30-year-old male. He has recently been diagnosed with major depressive disorder and has been referred to this clinic from his general practitioner. This gentleman has recently been married and has also had a child. So he's had a lot of changes in his life recently. This is the second session that I've had with Mr. Smith. In the last session, we built some rapport and got to know really what was going on with his case and just the things that were going on in his life. And I gave him a thought journal for homework. And he was supposed to be writing down anytime he experienced a negative thought. And we're going to go over that today in his session so that we can start to recognize negative thoughts and where they come from. The first thing I would like to discuss with you is what is major depressive disorder. Well, according to the DSM-5, it is a person will experience a depressed mood or loss in interest in daily activities for more than 2 weeks. And the mood must represent a change from baseline. Impaired function such as social, occupational, and educational must occur as well. And specific symptoms, there must be 5 of the 9 symptoms that I'm going to list now present nearly every day. The first symptom is decreased interest and pleasure in most activities, most of each day, significant weight change of 5% or change in appetite, change in sleep patterns such as insomnia or hypersomnia. The second criteria is change in activity. Psychomotor agitation or retardation, not doing as much or doing more than normal. Fatigue or loss of energy is another criteria. Feelings of guilt or worthlessness. Another criteria is diminished concentration or more indecisiveness. The last criteria is suicidality. So obviously thoughts of death or suicide, and has a plan or has a suicide plan. So 5 of those 9 must be present, and I'll just go through those very quickly again. 5 of the 9 would be depressed mood, decreased interest or pleasure, significant weight change, changes in sleep, changes in activity, fatigue, guilt, worthlessness, concentration, or suicidality. Causes of depression, there could be several reasons for depression. The first could be brain chemistry. Recent research indicates that changes in the function and the way that neurotransmitters and neural circuits interact within the brain may be a cause of MDD. Hormone changes can also cause MDD. So a person that has just had birth and pregnancy hormones may be present. Thyroid issues could cause hormonal problems as well as menopause. Inherited traits can also be a reason for MDD. And depression is more common in people who have a family history of MDD. The type of therapy that we're going to be using today is called cognitive behavioral therapy. It is problem-focused and action-oriented, meaning that it is used to treat a specific problem and related to a specific mental disorder. In the case of Mr. Smith, it's going to be MDD. The goals of CBT therapy are client is able to recognize patterns of habits, client is able to recognize patterns and habits of negative, distorted, and untrue self-talk or thoughts about the world, others, and themselves. Person with MDD may think, thoughts such as I'm worthless, I'm no good, I'm stupid, So the goal is to help the client recognize that those negative thoughts are abnormal, and how they can recognize those thoughts, where those thoughts come from, and how to turn those thoughts around, and help them recognize that those thoughts are untrue. So the client is able to look for thought responses to situations that lead to unhealthy emotions, such as jumping to conclusions, mind reading, fortune telling, blowing things out of proportion, and focusing on the negative. CBT focuses on challenging and changing unhelpful cognitive distortions such as thoughts, core values, beliefs, and attitudes in order to change. So it is thought that thoughts lead to feelings, and feelings lead to behavior. And so that is basically what is behind cognitive behavioral therapy, is that if we can get the client to recognize the thoughts and the feelings that go along with the thoughts, it will help them to change their behavior. Ethical issues with CBT. Because we're going to ask a client to engage in recognizing where their negative thought patterns came from, maybe child abuse, neglect, sexual abuse, things that happened to them, maybe getting fired from a job, different issues that may cause distress to a client. It is important to let the client know that these things, that we will bring hard issues up that the client is going to need to deal with, and this may cause distress along the way, and cause triggering events. This type of therapy, CBT, cannot be used with complex traumas, so it's important to for the therapist to recognize where CBT can help and where it cannot, and not try to help clients with complex traumas. The next thing that we'll get into is the therapy session with Mr. Smith. I hope that you can learn as much as possible from this, and let me know if you have any comments or suggestions. Thank you.